I'd like to call to order the Saugatuck City Council meeting for Monday, October 9th. If you could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Baldwin. Here. Dean. Gardner.
Here.
Leo.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Muncy.
Here.
Stan.
Here.
You have a-
And if I could have a motion to approve the absence of Mayor Dean. He is again away getting advanced training for at Bittersweet to be on the ski patrol. So that's what he's doing tonight.
May I?
Yes.
Motion to approve Mayor Dean's absence.
Second. Motion by Lewis, second by Baldwin. All in favor, roll call, or all in favor? It's a voice vote. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? All right, on to mayor's comments. I don't have anything tonight, so city manager comments.
Madam Mayor, my comments are on page 7 of your packet. We'll get to that when it comes.
All right, fantastic. Any agenda changes for tonight? Anyone want to change anything going on? All right, any guest speakers for tonight? No? Okay, so public comment on agenda items only. If you could state your name and where you're from, and please come up to the podium. And again, please speak directly into the microphone for everyone at home so you can hear on the Zoom.
My name, is that good?
That's perfect.
My name is Vicky Cobb. I live in Saugatuck, 97 Lake Street. And I'm excited tonight because we get to vote. Well, you get to vote on the playground equipment. So I just wanted to say I sat through the meeting last Wednesday and it was great. Great review of everything. Lots of questions asked, lots of answers provided. I sat there and just thought it was such a great job that the team did in terms of researching all kinds of options, finding the best solution, getting money. There's a grant that's been achieved, right? I think.
Mhm.
And so it was just exciting to hear that. I'm excited that you're going to vote on it tonight. I really hope you will vote yes for it. What I heard last Wednesday, there's a real safety issue right now. So it seems like a no-brainer. Something has to be done. And so putting new equipment there is the right thing to do. I go by there all the time. In the summertime, it's packed with kids, absolutely all kinds of people, grandparents with their grandkids, parents with their kids. It gets overrun with people in the summertime. And I think people would really miss it if we didn't have anything there to replace what's there now. I also understand from last Wednesday that there was a significant amount of money set aside many years ago for this express purpose. And it's been sitting there unused, which seems ludicrous to me. If it was put there for parks purposes, we should use it for parks purposes. And this is a great one. If we've got a safety issue that we need to address, why not use it right now? So I just want to say, I hope you'll vote yes for it. I think it's an exciting project and thank you for doing it.
Thank you, Vicky.
Good evening. My name is Glenna DeYoung, live in Saugatuck on the Hill. And I am a member of the Parks and Public Works Committee, and we are excited to bring the playground proposal to City Council tonight. It's been a long process with lots of research and lots of listening and lots of changes as a result of that. And I think what we have ended up with is something we can all be very proud of. Thanks to Kelly Roach is here. We were the co-chairs of the Village Square Study Group, which is a subgroup of the Parks and Public Works. And on that study group, we welcome other members like Bertie Holly and Anna Gregg, who has led the playground development over in Douglas and has been doing a great job and actually kickstarted us with a lot of good information that I think helped so we didn't have to investigate it all. Also, thanks to our fellow public Parks and Work members for their feedback they gave us along the way and their votes to approve this a couple weeks ago. So that includes Helen and Ruth and Keith are here and Nancy, I believe, is out of town. Yeah. So right away, we've been working on this for about 9 months. We recommended a survey at Village Square. That's the Four Corners in downtown. Found out we actually own more land than we thought down there. And we had proposed to move the playground across the street where the basketball court is, because it would have been nice to incorporate that hill, which we thought we didn't own, but we actually own a lot of. But with a lot of feedback and concerns and the timeline for that, we decided to move ahead and keep the playground where it is. The second thing that we got was the playground inspection done by ODC, the Outdoor Discovery Center. That became the focus of what we wanted to do at the Four Corners at Village Square because of the several safety related concerns. So we approached 4 vendors. We even developed a trifold. So when we met with them, we had our priorities and the kinds of things we wanted to see. We were pursuing themes, which if we know Richard Florida's work with placemaking, he talks about themes. And because we live in this beautiful lakeshore community, we were pursuing nature and maritime themes. But we found that the equipment that we wanted to use for that was really expensive. They have glass reinforced concrete structures, which look like natural trees, but they were really cost prohibitive. So we revisited that and we were able to get the quote down by over $180,000. And we ended up talking to 4 vendors, actually getting quotes from 2, Sinclair and Pensura. I see my time is winding down, but we have recommended the Sinclair grant and proposal, and also found out through Kelly's great work with the grant that we did receive that. And we found that out on Friday, I believe, for $112,000.
Nice.
So thank you. And we hope you vote yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenna. Anyone else in the audience?
Okay. Am I on?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Roach. I live at 413 Hoffman Street. I've served on the Tri-Community Recycling Committee, the Saugatuck Recreation Advisory Board, DES PTO, the Parks and Public Works Committee, and as Glenna shared, I'm co-chair of the airport property and Village Square. And then I just created and ran the new Servathon at the middle school. All this to say that I care very much about this community and would love to see some new things happen for us. And last but not least, I'm a mom to 2 boys that I'm raising in this community. So I want to thank council for your confidence and support in the Parks and Public Works Committee to take on this project. Department of Public Works, Scott Herbert's group has been outstanding to work with and very supportive, showed up for many of the meetings and gave feedback that we really needed as a group to make the decisions. And then I want to thank our Parks and Public Works. This is an outstanding group of humans that have gotten together for our love of the community and our outdoor spaces. And then specifically Helen and Glenna have been wonderful partners. So as Glenn shared, this has been going on a year now. We started this particular project in January, and it has had countless iterations. And in the end, what we really wanted to come from this is something that we could all be proud of, something that was modern for the way that kids play now, not from 30 and 40 years ago, as our current structure is, that allowed wider age ranges, and then also for more abilities to be able to come and enjoy the space, both local and for tourists. And then we really wanted to pull in Saugatuck's rich history. And so I think we've really been able to do that with a theme that we finally landed on. And it took us a while to get there with pulling through for the Singapore dunes. And it all took time. And one of the reasons why I joined Parks and Public Works when I was really thinking about that is that I know how busy you all are with all of the projects and the pressures that you have going on to make decisions for good things for our community. And so we wanted, as a Parks and Public Works Committee, to take some of that burden off and being able to care for some of our most important assets and why people come to spend time in our community, and that's our parks. And so my hope in improving this park is that we are starting a new precedent for caring for these assets moving forward. And I'm thrilled and just so thankful to see this project coming to fruition and to be able to share this with you tonight. And so my hope is that council, with all the information that has been shared, will vote yes with the funds that we already have set aside for this particular project in our parks. So thank you.
You, Kelly. Anyone else in the audience wishing to speak?
Post-it notes up here. Proper order. Yeah, Marcia Casper, City of Saugatuck. Haven't been here in a while. I am speaking about agenda item 15B, the replacement of the playground equipment. And I'd like to share that I fully support this project. Village Square investment was deemed a top priority by the city council. And Village Square is a highly visible and traveled part of Saugatuck. The existing playground is busy with children and their families all summer long. The Parks and Public Works Committee did a very thorough review of the existing playground and Village Square assets. There were lots of opportunities for public input. The current structure is at its end of life and is no longer worth taking a risk, especially with children. The typical cost for a custom high-quality playground for a 2,500 to 5,000 square foot area is around $200,000 to $500,000. And our playground is approximately 4,900 square feet, which puts you at the top end of, that 5,000 square foot. So 200 to 500K, the cost that came in even before the discount was reasonable. And with the grant, it makes it even so much better. It's a custom high quality playground. And I love the idea that it looks at historical design for our beautiful city, from indigenous people to logging to the dunes and our music and art community. It's just perfect. And I ask that you vote a resounding yes on this project. Thank you.
It's good to see you, Marcia.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else in the audience?
Hello, everyone. I'm Ruth Johnson at 399 Park Street, and also part of the Public Works Department. And I just want to say thank you for considering this project. It was well-researched and it's needed, and there's just nothing else to say, but thank you to Kelly and to Glenna. They did an amazing job. They did their work. So thank you for considering it.
Thanks, Ruth. Anyone else in the audience? Keith?
Keith Cherrick, on the Hill in Saugatuck. Basically, they stole my speech, everyone. So I just want to say thank you for all the hard work you've done, Kelly, for the getting the grant and all that fun stuff. And Glenna, thank you. I'm on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, of which you're chair. And it's a fun little group. We have a good time. And I feel we're going to bring the parks into the next century, which is the current century. But I also want to thank, is your wife pregnant?
No, that was Scott.
Oh, wait, it's Scott. It's Scott. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Scott Herbert just had a new baby girl.
Yes.
So it'd be cool if you guys just put something in the official minutes, so maybe you can read it in the. Cut on?
No.
Don't think
He's
so.
busy.
That's all I've got. Thanks.
All right, Keith. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience here in person like to say something? Go ahead, Bill.
Good afternoon, good evening, council. I want to first state that I fully support replacement of the park equipment. It's sorely needed. It has been for years. But I have a couple concerns with the proposal that's in front of you. My first concern is that the approval process and public notice. I looked at the city's website, the Parks and Public Works Committee meeting packets and agenda, and nowhere did I see specifically this project was going to be discussed. So if the citizens wanted to know about it, they wouldn't. And also there were no renderings. I believe the first time we all became aware of the cost of the project and the scope of the project was last Wednesday in the workshop, in the packet of the workshop. This is in sharp contrast with the short-term rental task force, who I think did an amazing job of communicating to the public. Front page articles on the Holland Sentinel, articles in the Commercial Record, a letter from the chair, all kinds of meetings in open forum. This one seems to be going a little quickly, and I think that's a concern that our citizens don't know what's happening. My second concern, I was on council when we put away the $1 million for parks. I know what the Sinclair bid is, or cost of the contract is, but I don't know any of the other costs. How much of this project will take up that $1 million? What are we gonna have left for really other important projects like Mount Baldhead Park? Ask you to step back. I don't think there's a time constraint. This project may go through the future, but step back, let the public know what it's all about. And if there's a push because there's some kind of timeline from the vendor, it's kind of like when you go to a car dealer and they say, buy it now or you may miss out. I think we need to stop and step back and take a look at it and let our citizens really know what all you're doing. Great job by the committee, but I think it feels rushed.
Anyone else in the audience? Go ahead, Dan.
Dan Fox, City of Saugatuck. Bill said one thing that he said several things, but one of the things I particularly appreciated, and I didn't see Holly come into the room, and I apologize. I was going to say, I thought the proposal for the playground clearly was well thought out, well constructed. I mean, looked at from multiple angles. I mean, I didn't even know the thing about thinking about moving across the street and then having to evaluate blah, blah, blah. I know how I have some sensitivity for how much time and angst and the rest of it that takes. And from what I know, which is the materials in the packet, and whatever, I would fully support doing this. I would also suggest, having seen the approach Holly and the short-term rental task force took, it may very well be worth taking whatever that takes, a week or 2 weeks to get this firmly in front of people. The fact that so many people here tonight speaking in favor of the project, were actually involved in the project at some level, but where's everybody else? They're not here. So, and I mean, I'm on the fire board, as you know, and we lament all the time how little participation from the public we have in the fire board meetings and Zoom and all the rest of it. And maybe that's just the nature of the beast, and it is what it is, and you got to accept that. And if that's the case, I still think it would be well advised to just take that one last step, maybe do a meeting like the short-term rental people did, which was extremely well attended at the school, to just lay all this wonderful stuff in front of all the people. I mean, as many people as show up. It's to me, that's the last thing to check. And it's not an approval thing. It's just so that down the road, you don't have somebody saying, oh, I didn't know there's going to be a dune buggy in there, some damn thing like that. Okay, so that's my one request. I do have one suggestion, however, born of my advertising background. And I'm happy to hear you got a grant. I found there's like a whole page of places you can get grants for just this stuff. So God bless you. Public-private is also a funding source. When I saw that dune bug, I thought, wait a minute. That's a for-profit business. I mean, it's a great thing to have here, and don't get me wrong, as is Retro Boats. Very terrific business. They might very well be willing to sign a significant check, or even to have some small notice, not a glaring sign that says, you know, the dune buggy exhibit or whatever you call it, sponsored by Saugatuck. I'm gonna get a bad phone call. when I go home. Something like that. Anyway. my
Thank
two
you, Dan.
thoughts on the matter.
you.
Thank you.
Dan.
Anyone else in the audience?
I think everybody said everything.
I'm Peg Sanford, 160 Tack in Saugatuck. I am of an age that I've gone through 2 parks, 4 or 5 parks, matter of fact. We began at the elementary school how many eons ago and did a community build. I am telling you, it was horrendous. It worked well. They had all the children helped, all the teachers helped, all the teachers helped, all the teachers helped, all the children helped. And when we were done with it, it was a celebration to end celebrations because everybody was there and everybody had taken a part in it somewhere. And that came down just a few years ago because as everybody knows, we get older and they don't hold up very well after a certain decade or 2 or 4. And then we built another one and then I've watched our village square change a few times. I raised my children down there. I raised my grandchildren down there. And now I'm starting on great grandchildren. And I'm a little concerned about what's available for the little toddlers, but we can live with anything. You can make anything work. What I am concerned about is it's a community build. And I don't see a way that you have yet brought the community in, the Saugatuck community in to work on this besides your fabulous committees. I really think you want to think about that and how you're going to find at the last minute people to build it for you. And it's certainly not easy. You look at our population in Saugatuck and we don't have a lot of strong young men who have some kind of a construction knowledge here. You have a few kids. The moms probably could do it though, probably. But anyway, they don't know about it. And that's why we had thought that maybe you really would like to explain it to the public or at least get a big picture in the paper. Well, I said, do it now. Get your picture in the paper now of the plan and all of the money out there and let them respond as they will. And then by the time you get them around, come around to building, it'll be over with. Because I'm afraid you're going to have a group marching on you guys saying, I didn't know. And going to a committee meeting is not a public viewing. It just doesn't work that way. On a Tuesday at 10 in the morning, that's not a time for public input at your meetings. It just doesn't work that way. So that's all I want to say. Great project though. And I'm excited. And I'll get my son to help.
Thanks, Peg.
Thanks, Peg.
Hi, everybody. I'm Holly Anderson. I live on Wyrick Drive in Saugatuck. Thanks for the props on the short-term rental committee. I didn't see you, Dan, either when I walked in. I think I appreciate. I think the short-term rental committee did a really good job too. But it's a different thing. I mean, it's a highly controversial, charged topic with lots of pros and cons. So I think we intentionally structured it to, go for months. And they, all were public meetings, although they were also from 3 to 5, which weren't exact. I mean, we tried to flex some. We had a town hall. But all of this is to say, I think that process was great. I think it's a little apples and oranges with this. Props to everybody who worked on it. I was at the workshop on Wednesday and it's a really exhaustive, a lot of work. And if it hadn't been so exhaustive and if there hadn't been 4 bidders, I would be inclined to slow the brakes, I think, or pump the brakes or whatever. I think one thing, going forward, to look at is when does council need to take time to really open up and make a big push for projects, what projects fall into that category and what don't. I don't think, I mean, given that all the meetings were public, I wasn't surprised or felt like this was rushed. But I do think if we're getting that kind of feedback, it is a good, what are the criteria? But it seems like given the fact that we all know we need it, that a lot of work went in, that 4 bidders were picked, that it narrowed down to 2. I would be comfortable if you approved it. And regardless, I can't wait to see Gregory on the equipment because we all know he's gonna elbow his way to be first to have fun. And but congratulations to everybody who worked on it.
Thanks, Holly. Anyone else in the room? Okay, I'm gonna head to Zoom. Anybody with their hands raised on Zoom? And this can be on any topic, anything on the agenda. Okay, all right, then we will move on. We are now to the consent agenda. If I could have a motion to approve the city council minutes from September 25th.
I'll make a motion to pass the regular city council meeting minutes from September 25th, 2023.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Muncy, second by Baldwin. This is a roll call.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Muncy,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
and James excused.
Okay, and now it's on to staff reports, boards, commissions, and committees. City manager report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My report still remains on page 7.
Okay,
Happy to answer any questions.
does
if you have.
anybody have any questions for the city manager?
Thank you for the very thorough report.
You're welcome.
Okay, on to the treasurer's report. Is Peter here?
Peter's on the Zoom.
Peter, is there anything you want to add that you don't have in your report?
No, I think I got everything pretty well covered. We're still working on the audit. I think it's going to be delayed now because they passed me off to a different partner to finish it up because one we dealt with for years is retired or moved on to a different position with another firm. Otherwise, that's about it.
Any questions for Peter? All right, moving on to planning and zoning. Ryan?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. Just highlights Thursday at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. The Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducting a public hearing on AT&T's variance request related to the project on Mount Baldhead. And then it's the Planning Commission meeting on October 19th. The Planning Commission is actually going to hold a special meeting starting at 6 p.m. right before their regular meeting at 7 to kind of do a presentation on the short-term rental task force findings, recommendations. So just wanted to highlight those things. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ryan?
Also, thank you for your very thorough report.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, Department of Public Works.
All right, well, with all the excitement last week, the report kind of slipped through the cracks, so I'll just hit a quick little update here.
The excitement meaning that our DPW supervisor had a child.
Yes.
He decided he wanted to expand his family or something.
Congratulations to Scott and Lauren.
Yeah, so at Oval Beach, we removed the boardwalk that is out for the season, got the erosion fence up. We had brush and leaf, also have that coming up this week. We had the hazardous waste event, which seemed pretty successful. Started work on the pavilion at Mount Baldhead. They're getting that primered and ready for paint. And we've also started shifting gears towards all the Christmas decorations going up. We have the wreaths being redone. We tested out the Christmas tree for Coughlin Park, got maintenance done on that, so that's ready to go. And that is the real key points that we had.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Just what days again are brush and leaf that folks can bring them out, just so everybody knows?
Tuesday for this side of the river, and then Wednesday will be west side.
Okay,
That's this week?
that's this week.
Whoosh,
Get your leaves out there, folks, if you.
not
wanna
have
see
my
that, yeah.
stuff. I poop in a group.
We're also starting 2 times a month now, so we'll have it the
fourth week of this month, and then second and fourth week of next month.
Great.
Of November as well.
Yep,
So you'll be cleaning leaves 4 times.
yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
as long as it doesn't snow.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Sheriff's Department, police report.
None present.
Okay, engineering report. John Moxie. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so we'll move on to boards, commissions, and committees, the Fire District Administration Board. Dan?
Dan Fox, Council Representative to the Saugatuck Township Fire District Board. As I think I mentioned, whatever. Our meetings are once a month, unlike you guys that are 2 a month. So the September 18th meeting was one last reported. I think we meet on the 16th or 17th of this month. But I did over in between, I came upon just a tidbit, a note from the chief that I thought it interested me. And I thought it might interest you. What the fire district or fire department calls turnout gear, the stuff that they wear, the helmet, the fire retardant, heavy clothing, whatever. There's a requirement, state kind of, some sort of requirement for different size communities that you can only keep that stuff so long. It has a half-life, which I think is 10 years. And at the end of that, what do? I mean, you have to get rid of it. A single set of that with the helmet is close to $4,000 to $5,000. We have, I don't know, 30 plus of those out at the fire district. And the chief sent me a note of forwarding a note that he had received. The fire district got in touch, or somebody at the fire district got in touch with a fellow at Belfour, which is a, after a fire restoration company. I think they're nationwide, but I know they're in Michigan. That guy named Denny Askins, I'm not sure what it is, Higgins. That guy on his own has set up a deal where Belfour collects this stuff, this out of date kind of thing, not just turnout gear, but equipment, hoses, all the rest of the stuff. And they are able to provide it to needy fire departments, virtually all in the Upper Peninsula. Places that can't really fully fund their fire district or their fire department, or just don't have the finances. Many of these are entirely volunteer fire departments. So anyway, the 10-year-old turnout gear from fire district is on its way to Belfour, and then on its way at some point up to the Upper Peninsula. I just thought that's kind of a cool deal. Don't ask me, because I won't speak to it on public forum. How come we have a 10-year life, but the ones in the UP obviously don't have a 10-year life? Their equipment that's being replaced is 29 years old. So the answer to that question, the short answer is 10 years old is better than 29 years old. Anyway, that's what I got.
All right, thank you, Dan. Interurban Board, Gregory?
Well, as I said, I could repeat a few things from our last meeting, that our ridership was up 28% from last year, and that our parking shuttle that we had coming from the high school, we had over almost 1,000 more than we had the year before. So we're doing pretty good financially, and we've talked about that before. Our next meeting is going to be October 17th. So we'll have more. We created a committee to talk about hours and expanding our hours. We've flexed our budget a little bit this year to start some later hours that'll start earlier in the spring and March. But we have a committee. That committee has not met yet, but we're going to talk about how we can extend our hours. We keep hearing lots of requests for longer hours. So we're going to see where we can do that. But we're open, just so everybody knows, we're open every day till 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. We start at 7 a.m., get those kids into school. And it's your best value in the area for only $1 in a 30-mile radius from your home to wherever you want to go.
How late is it open on the weekends?
On the weekends at 9 a.m., Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. Right
How
now.
late?
Up until November. November will close at 6 p.m., but we'll still open at 9 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays, 7 a.m. And that'll be November through February.
The last rides are usually 7 p.m. Is that
Pardon?
the last ride evening? You're done by 6?
In November, it'll go to 6 p.m. Right now, it's still 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
For the Halloween weekend?
Halloween will be free as usual. Free rides, late night rides until 2 a.m. They'll have a roundabout that comes from Saugatuck to Douglas. It'll be at the drugstore, and it'll make roundabouts over there at the insurance company, Cabri, Martinek, why can't I think of it? State Farm.
Okay.
State Farm Insurance. So they have a great, because they've got 2 drives that goes in and out of there. It's real convenient for the shuttle just to go back and forth. That'll be free. And the rides will be free throughout the evening, any ride that you want to go until 2 a.m.
Okay. Great, Gregory, thank you. Cal Lake? Anyone here? Is Barry around? No. Okay. Harbor Authority, we did not meet, so same as last week or the last month. Zoning Board of Appeals, anyone here for zoning? Okay. Historic District Commission.
Yep, we met this past Thursday. Items that were discussed at the meeting are included in RC's report. We had several items. But lastly, we did discuss and unanimously approve the playground. Helen was there and presented for us. Just to note, I abstained from voting because I knew that we would be voting tonight. So to avoid any conflict there. But it was a good meeting. One of the things I noted, and RC took this to note, is it seems like whether it's historic preservation or even hardscape improvements that folks are making, people are doing them without understanding that there's a process that they need to go through. And so it was recommended that we get communication out to all of our residents, whether they're homeowners or business owners, in such a way, hey, just a reminder, you just can't go do this stuff. You have to go through the process. So I believe somebody afterwards suggested maybe in the tax bills. But it just really feels lately that we've had quite a bit of that happening where we're having to, or our commissions are having to kind of be like, whoa, stop the horses. You can't do that. So it causes a lot of frustration for folks. You know, one example would be the gentleman who wanted to paint the mural on the building. Well, the SHPO clearly states that you cannot do that. You can improve what's already there, which was the sign saying what stores are there, but to add a mural is total against all historic preservation guidelines and quite severe fines. And luckily, we live in this community where folks are like, just take it down, just take it down. So this poor guy, I think, was kind of caught, led astray, and that's too bad. So I think if we can find a way to communicate with folks, just as a reminder,
good,
that'd be good.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, on to Planning Commission.
Planning Commission meets as Mr. Cummings said, Thursday, October 19th, we'll be meeting early at 6 p.m. to present the recommendations from the short-term rental task force and public knowledge to get everybody to come and hear about it. And looking forward to hearing that. And then we've got some pretty big hitting items on the agenda itself. So we're going to be busy.
Okay, on to Parks and Public Works Committee.
I think everyone here has been talking about what we're up to.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Tri-Community Non-Motorized Trail Study Committee.
We continue to meet with other communities and the engineer on a regular basis to keep on track with our grants. So we're very excited.
Good.
Pedaling along.
Tri-Community Recycling.
Yeah, as Cody indicated, we had a very successful household hazardous waste day on the 26th. This year we had shortened it to 3 hours instead of 4. Had a good number of volunteers, several of whom are here in the room. All told, we had 160 vehicles go through. We had 41 from the city of Saugatuck, so that's about 26%. a smaller number from the city of Douglas, which was to be expected. We had 22, which is about 14%. But the majority, again, from the township, we had 95, which was almost 60%. I'm waiting on the final bill from ERG Services, but I anticipate that it'll be even less than it was last year. So I'll be coming back and telling the city exactly how much we need.
Okay.
So
All
it's all
right.
good.
Sounds
It was a
good.
Good event.
Request for payment, none. Approval of accounts payable. If we could have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $217,199.15.
Second.
All right. Motion by Gardner, second by Lewis. This is a roll call.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Dean's excused.
Would you like discussion? Go ahead.
I have a comment. I just want to thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. Just want to note that item 35, $32,970.50 to Saugatuck Public Schools. That is a split for the public-owned lot next to the SCA. I've been talking with Liz Wilson, who's the program manager for that at the school, and saw her at a football game a couple of weeks ago and asked her to put together a report for the council so we can see how much money is actually generated from that and split with the schools. That represents 50% of the proceeds from the lot. Record summer this year. So Liz will be putting together a report she probably won't be here, but just so everybody can see the numbers. So.
Anybody else? All right, roll call.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Dean's excused. Gardner.
Yes.
Leo.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes. All right, introduction of ordinances, none. Unfinished business, none. We are on to new business and item 15A, the Oval Beach update. City manager?
Madam Mayor, thank you. This is on page 25 of your packet. You did discuss this item at your Wednesday workshop. We still have Peter on the line if he wants to give us any highlights. Peter?
Yeah, nothing's changed since Wednesday afternoon, so I don't know if anybody had time to think they got any questions.
Thanks, Peter. So one highlight here is the daily pass sale. So if you look at the 2023 season, you're at 49,118. This surpasses the 2 previous years. Tough to say, what you can attribute that to. But I will mention that the CVB has been doing an outstanding job of highlighting your beach and your city. And so I think that's one of the reasons. And then just compliments to the beach staff this summer season. First and foremost, a safe season. And then we did have some of our administrative staff flex in to help manage the beach. So all in all, it was a good beach season.
Good.
This is just a review. We're not voting on anything,
No,
right?
nothing. No,
Okay.
just
But
these are
just
highlights.
An open review. Okay,
Correct.
thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
Unless you want to vote on something.
No, thank you.
A couple things to note that we discussed at the workshop is that the season passes generally tend to be pretty flat. And as you can see from the numbers, as well as the number of property owners that actually purchase passes is right around 400. So that's on par with what we've seen in the past. The interesting thing about the daily passes is that's very weather dependent. So if we have great weather, passes go up. If the weather's not so good, they go down. So we had a great summer for weather this year. This reflects the hot weather. And the question I asked, which I don't know if there's an answer for it yet, is this represents the number of cars that actually enter the beach. It doesn't represent the number of people. And I'd love to begin seeing some numbers about the actual usage of the beach, because I'll bet it's probably twice that number, if not more. Cars repeatedly go in, bring people in and out. And that's something I'd like to talk with the DPW about at some point, see if we can get some better tracking on numbers of people coming in and out of the park, because it gets a lot of use, and those numbers I think would speak volumes.
And also, we talked about at our workshop, the increase of supplies. I mean, we all know going to the grocery shop, anything has increased, and we've seen a few increases in our supplies. I'd like to see how we can maybe charge an extra $1 for that hot dog, or if there's something we can do to help offset the cost of the supplies that we can't avoid paying. And maybe think about how we're running our concession stand, if we can make it a little bit more profitable. So just something to put out there for next year.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
If I may. We did talk about the food vending that we have going on out there. One of the things that staff talked about is having some affordable prices. So when you do have a family that's traveling and makes this big commitment to come into the city of Saugatuck and travel all the way out to Oval Beach, how nice is that when you can feed a family and not break the bank on top of all your travels? But it is a good conversation to have at your next strategic planning session, because I do think there's some things that we can do with our vending out there, perhaps more creative than just like raising hot dog price,
Right.
$1. Back to seasonality, and as far as our sales for our daily passes, spring was really slow. June was not great.
Yeah.
So we did actually have to catch up through July and August, and we had a lot of people out there. So again, congrats to our staff. And then Peter's listening, and don't be surprised if Peter makes a recommendation to increase the season passes, not the resident passes, but increase well, whatever Peter comes up, whatever his recommendation is, but he's mentioned this multiple times. Look at that as another option to increase revenue
Sure.
coming from your treasurer.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. We are now on to 15B, replacement of the playground equipment in Village Square. This is page 27 in your packet. The motion is on page 28.
Madam Mayor. I
Yes.
think the best person to lead in on this one is Ms. Helen Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. First I want to thank everybody for coming, and we did cover this extensively, went through the report on Wednesday. One thing that's changed since then is we were able to secure the grant. At the time, it was just a possibility. We learned on Friday, we did indeed receive it. So add another discount, I guess, of about $113,000. I think it's 112,910 or something. So that received the unanimous support from the historic district, and as well as the Saugatuck Douglas History Center. So we're really proud of that, and I'm happy to bring it here before you today, and I look forward to your yes vote.
Well, Madam Mayor, I do have a sample motion here on page 20.
Can I, 28, can I make a
Thank you.
motion?
Well, hold on one second, please,
Oh,
before you do.
yes.
One correction, please, just to the dollar amount, since you got the grant.
Yeah.
So the motion reads 450,000. So if you could just insert $336,633.41.
Okay. 336, 333 and
Oh, no, 336, 633.41.
633,
And 40.
336, 633, 40.41.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Uh,
Yep.
336, 633, 41. All right.
Go ahead, Holly.
To the penny. May I make a motion to move to approve the playground equipment proposal submitted by Sinclair Playground Equipment in an amount not to exceed $333,333.41. Authorize the mayor or mayor pro tem to execute contract pending final staff.
Let's go back on the number one more
Right,
time.
thank you.
Did I do it right?
Said
Oh,
333,
yeah.
should be 6.
All good.
Sorry,
Yeah.
leave it to me with the number here. Move to approve the playground equipment proposal submitted by Sinclair Playground Equipment in an amount not to exceed 633.41. Authorize the mayor or mayor pro tem to execute contract pending final staff approval.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Leo, second by Lewis. Is there any discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, would it be helpful to have the members of the Parks and Public Works Committee? We had a really nice presentation from Glenna DeYoung at the meeting last Wednesday. We don't maybe need the extended presentation, but it might be nice just to kind of hear some of the highlights from what we saw.
That
That-
was- Madam
Be
Mayor.
open to that?
Yeah, that was, if I may, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, that's what we spent about an hour and a half doing on Wednesday. And that's why we spent that kind of dedicated time. So there's no need to repeat.
Are
that.
there any questions that people didn't have answered from, as far as council is concerned? Are there any questions that are still lingering out there that you guys have? I know you had said at the meeting on Wednesday that you had some questions. Did you get those questions answered?
Yeah, thank you very much for calling that out. I do have a lot of questions, but I want to start off by saying I'm fully in support of this project. You know, I've had a lot of conversations with people that have approached me over the weekend in person and called me and emailed me with questions. I'm not going to go through all the questions this evening. I will say that the thing that I've heard very clearly was that it seems to be a very rushed process, a lack of information being given to the public. I know the meetings have been recorded. I know they're available for folks to watch. The audio is difficult to hear exactly what's going on. So that's an issue that I've heard from several different people who have tried to attempt to watch those. So I'm here to support the project, but I have to tell you, this is a kind of a project where I should be enthusiastic and everybody in the community should be like, this is it. We've talked about this. Everybody's on board with it. All the public has seen it. We've gotten everybody around the table on this and we've gotten this go forward. I just don't feel that, but that doesn't mean I don't support it. So it's kind of, I don't know, I'm struggling with this from a council member standpoint, as well as a community standpoint. I think here's some of the comments. That dialogue we heard tonight from comments, fantastic. That's the kind of thing that is important to me as a council member and to our democratic process, to hear people and hear what their thoughts are on this. I just don't think that has been given the public input that I would really like to see on this, but that doesn't mean I don't support it. So I'm speaking from the heart on this. I'd love to be able to say, man, we have gone through everything. All my questions have been answered. All the things that I had concerns about have been addressed. I'm not feeling that.
Thank you, if I may. Thank you to Member Gardner for his comments, and I do understand and appreciate that. What I want to really emphasize is that council approved a Parks and Public Works Committee. The folks applied, they were selected, brought before council and approved, and they were approved to do that job. It is not council's position to pick apart every detail of every project. That is what we lean on our residents for, and that there's a ton of work that goes into it. And to bring it back to the beginning of it is really just denigrates, in my view, why we have these committees that we've approved. So I understand the comments, and to me, it's almost like for the people that are going to support you, the information has been enough. To the people that aren't, nothing is ever going to be enough. And I just think we're ready to go.
Anyone else?
Well, you know, I do believe, first of all, it's a great plan. You guys, we talked about it on Wednesday. You all know that I support this, and I'm very happy to hear that you got this grant. I don't think we could have done it for a price like this anytime in the future for around $330 for buying this equipment. It doesn't come cheaper than that, folks. This isn't the only quote you guys looked for. I was impressed by all the work that you did. I was impressed by the company that you ended up going with, because we see that they've installed, you know, they did the community install at Berry Field, which everybody really loves. The community really loves there, and it's very durable. So I'm happy with that as well. It was a little surprise to me to see the plans, because the first time I saw them as a council member was Wednesday as well. But I gotta say, after spending time with them and looking at them and talking to everybody, I think it's a great thing. I will say though, you know, it would be nice just in hindsight to remember that when we do think about doing a project like this again, it would be nice to use the STR model and have a little bit of community input. Maybe somebody could have stood at the park, you know, there and hindsight. I'm not saying we need to stop and do it now. But it would be nice in hindsight when we do go forward and doing these kind of projects to have that kind of model where we, you know, stand at the park and get more community input, more of a public than just the meetings. I understand the meetings are public, and believe me, I talk about it on my radio show. I blame everybody when they say, hey, we're not informed enough. Well, hey, go to the meetings. They're there. They're public meetings. But then of course, 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, a lot of the committee meetings that I'd like to go to, I can't go to because I'm working. So,
Was there a meeting on September 21st? I thought there was a community open house for the Parks and Public Works.
The Parks and Public Works, that is for the tri-community plan, and that was an
The whole
open house,
plan.
but that was, yes.
Was it, but this plan wasn't out there for.
It
people to
wasn't
consider or talk about?
specifically for that. Yeah.
You did, okay.
People were available to
And
talk
then
about it.
one of the things that was mentioned tonight was the community build. And I know we mentioned that on Wednesday. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the community build option?
Thank you for that. Yeah, we're actually really looking forward to it, and we've got enthusiastic support. I believe that we will be turning people away. But I mean, I think that we're going to get a lot of very qualified, very beefy members of the community to work on it. And the way that they do it, and a lot of folks here even worked on the Beery Field. The engineers walk around behind you. We don't just pop this thing up and go. They
Right.
give you a very specific task to do. Yeah, it's not as easy as it sounds. They give you a very specific task. Okay, so you're going to put together this piece, this piece, this piece. Then they walk around behind you and install it. They don't just turn you loose on the playground. It's very organized, and I have no doubt that we will get plenty of qualified.
And there's a discount when you do the
It
community
received a
build.
$35,000 discount for a community build. Yes,
And
ma'am.
didn't you
Okay.
say
I know
there
some
were
of those
30
things might not
people?
have been
Right.
And we're
heard
gonna need
if you
about
didn't
30 people.
attend
There's
the.
only 30 people allowed.
Right,
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
And another real quick question too. Now, this is the price, what we're talking about is the price of the purchase of the equipment. Do we have an estimate or a cost on what it's going to take to tear this down and you know, get the ground ready?
DPW is going to do it.
DPW will have that cost for us, that breakdown? Okay.
Yeah. And I know Scott Herbert has been involved with this every step of the way, and
He
he's
also
prepared to
supports
do
it,
that.
Very supportive, yes, as is
Very
Mayor Dean, who wasn't able to be here tonight, sent me an email tonight with his full support as well.
Just to kind of piggyback off of Councilmember Muncie's comments, the decommissioning and the destruction and demolition of the playground equipment and the readying of the site is going to be a substantial lift, I think, for our DPW department. So I'd be curious to know if we can estimate what that's going to cost us, and that really should come from the Parks and Public Works. I don't know if Peter's still on the line, but that should be routed to
I
the
would
Parks and
think
Public
so.
Works Fund. So there's going to be time and materials involved in doing that, disposing of the playground equipment, et cetera. So I'd like to see an all-in cost to add those extra steps are going to need to be taken by our DPW to get that completed. And I do want to just, again, thank you. I said this Wednesday, thank you again to everybody who was involved. I want to thank Chairman Baldwin, as well as everybody from the community that's on the Parks and Public Works Committee. It's hard work. I've been in those seats. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate the effort.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
1 second, because I think Ryan wanted to just address what you were saying about the cost associated with the decommissioning.
Madam Mayor, I think we're gonna do everything to keep that material out of the waste stream. So if we can find a repurposing of that equipment, we'll do so, especially some of the bigger timbers. So we're gonna be thoughtful about that. And as far as an accounting of our time spent, that already gets tracked through our internal processes. So we'll have an accounting of that some time after the fact.
All right, well, we do have a motion on the table, so if we could go ahead and take the roll call.
Altman,
Yes.
Dean's excused, Gardner,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Muncy,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. It was a great discussion, everyone, and I appreciate everybody's input on that. So we're moving on now to new business and 15C, early voting agreement between the city and the township. It is page 41 in your packet.
Madam Mayor, you do have a motion in front of you. Bottom of page 41.
And Jamie, do you want to go over any of this just to give the highlights on this? I know we went over it at the workshop.
Yeah,
but-
so this is with Prop 2 in November passing. This is a requirement now for all state and federal elections is 9 days of early voting. There were 3 options given. The county could provide that to its municipalities. You could join other municipalities or you could go alone. I chose to work with the township on this to hopefully get grant money for some materials and costs for election workers, also time, space, and we have a deadline of October 30th to get our plan to the county. So before you use the resolution authorizing us to have the polling location at the township for 9 days of early voting and for me to sign the agreement with the township.
All right, Jamie, thank you. And I know we did discuss this at length at the workshop, but do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. We talked about this and I want to thank Jamie for being very thorough with us and explaining everything to us. So I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 231009-A, adopting early voting site and municipal agreement between Saugatuck City and Saugatuck Township.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Muncy, seconded by Gardner, and this is a roll call vote. Gardner.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Dean's excused, Gardner,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Muncy,
Yes.
Yes. All right, we are on to 15D, special event application for the Halloween Festival. It is on page 55.
Mayor?
Yes,
I
Ray.
would like to go ahead and make the motion. We talked about this event that they had last year and was very successful. I'd like to make the motion to approve the special event application for the Halloween Festival sponsored by Sadaba to be held on October 28, 2023, contingent on safety approval by police, fire, and city staff.
Second.
All right, motion by Muncy, seconded by Lewis, and this one is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yeah. Opposed? Motion carries.
If I may add, Mayor,
Yes.
Rotary, we went back and discussed this and decided to cancel the zombie bike ride because we didn't want to do anything that would conflict with this event.
All
So
right.
zombie bike ride is canceled.
Maybe we'll
Yeah,
try
if-
that again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did,
perhaps.
did you reach out to Josephine? To let
Did.
her- Okay.
I did.
Okay. All right, on to special event application, the tree lighting ceremony. This is on page 60 in your packet.
One of my favorite events. So I would like to announce that. I know I'll be helping out with that and we'll be asking the mayor to help light the tree. So I'd like to make the motion to approve the special event application for the tree lighting sponsored by Sadava to be held on November 24th. That's the day after Thanksgiving, 2023, contingent on safety approval by police, fire, and city staff.
Second.
All right, motion by Muncy, second by Lewis. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And on to the special event application for the annual holiday parade. That's on page 65.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special event application for the annual holiday parade sponsored by Sadaba to be held on December 2nd, 2023, contingent on safety meeting with fire, police, and staff.
Second.
All right, motion by Leo, second by Lewis. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Opposed? All right. Now we're on to public comments for anything other that you want to discuss.
Well, first of all, thank you for your unanimous vote for the playground. We appreciate it. I also want to give special thanks to Helen for being our #1 cheerleader. She said, I know nothing about playgrounds, so you guys go do it and I will help push it through. And you certainly did and represented it well. I'm still trying to, coming from non-government work my whole career, wrap my head around how slow government works. And my head went when I heard we move so fast. So I'm still getting used to that, but I appreciate your comments. And I'm happy to answer any questions you asked. Russ, if I asked the question at the candidate forum about the playground, I did not, but I'm happy to answer any questions, especially about the physics of why the new spinner is better than the old merry-go-rounds that caused carnage when we were kids.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak tonight?
Just quickly, Vicky Cobb, Saugatuck. The dialogue tonight was really intriguing to me because as a voter, I want you guys to make these decisions. That is why you get elected, is to make these decisions. And I would argue that the fact that at most meetings that I dial in for or sit in, there might be 20 people on the line and in the room, that the vast majority of residents want you guys to make these decisions without having multiple meetings. However, I recognize there's a group of people that want a lot more information, want a lot more input into information. And so I was kind of intrigued with Holly's comment that maybe something we're spending time on is to think if there's some criteria where you say, okay, maybe it's a dollar amount. We're going to spend over $200,000. We're going to seek public input on this. I don't know what the answer is, but I want to thank you for making the decisions, for not delaying the decision, because it is what I want you guys to do, is make decisions. Thank you.
Yeah, I echo Vicky's comments about the decision-making process, that is your job. And it's the leader or the representative of the committees that you form to give them the authority and the responsibility to put together really solid plans, and that's what this group did. And regarding the comment about the short-term rental as the model for all projects, I totally disagree from that. And I had a professional life as a project manager. There are criteria and it isn't even cost, I will say, but I mean, that could be it. But it has to do with how much is it a major change or a minor change? And I see this as a minor change. One, the funds were there. It's not like you're putting on an extra tax that every citizen of Saugatuck has to pay. The funds were there. The project was formed. They put together a solid plan and presented it to you. Criterias for, like more, proactive communications gets into, is it a major change and how many people are impacted? And the short-term rental impacts every citizen, every household in the city of Saugatuck. And I even recognized Holly's excellent work, because when I saw all of the communications or the letters to the editor that she wrote in the commercial record, I was like, wow, this, I know you have change management experience. Yeah. And it also has to do with, how many people will be impacted. I don't know how many in the audience have gone and played on that equipment. Recently. Okay, two of you.
Right.
But this, it's not like it's a big draw where, lots of households and adults are going there. It's, their kids are going there. And the other issue is this is a replacement of an existing playground. It's not like we're scoping out new land. We've never had a playground before. And the land is going to be next to, homes that this is all brand new. And I've never had a playground next to my house or in the neighborhood. This is a replacement project. So I don't see this as requiring, all of these commercial record communications and, everybody proactively knocking door to door, et cetera. And I would be happy to share my project management experience.
Thank you.
If you want some guidance.
I appreciate it.
And I know I'm out of time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anyone else? Whoa. God forbid here. I still believe that the public has a right to know and buys into your projects if they know about them, but they haven't known. And it's just, I think the project's fabulous. I said that, but still get all 900 of us involved. Not me, please, but the other 899. Do it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for passing it. This is a I'm also on another board. I'm on the Friends of the Saugatuck Douglas District Library. Hello, testing. I'm on the Friends of the Saugatuck Douglas, I'm on the Friends of the Saugatuck Douglas District Library Board. We're having our annual fall fundraising dinner on October 24th. We're partnering with Farmhouse Deli. It's a takeout this year. It's because their actually dining room isn't finished. It's $75 per person, of which $30 goes to the library. And we use these funds for programs that taxpayer dollars don't fund. YA programs, kid programs. I think we even bought them a couple sewing machines. There's a sewing machine group. So I hope you can all make it. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Chief.
Anyone else in the room? Anybody on Zoom want to speak in public comment? I don't see any. Okay, no correspondence. Time for council comments. If we could start with Helen.
Oh, just want to obviously thank everybody here, the people that came to opine, as well as my fellow council members for a job well done and in getting this to where we need to be. It's exciting. It needs to happen. It's good for our community. It's the right call and it's the right time. And I have a heart full of gratitude for all of you involved. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you.
Gregory.
I just want to say, I really enjoy serving on a board where we do have questions that might seem a little bit out of the norm and might don't always agree or where'd that question come from? And real quick, just to be clear, I don't think that this should have been a process of evaluation, certainly like the STR. It's a whole different subject here. And I'm sorry if I used the word model. I meant something a little bit more, and I've always felt that we could do a better job being more public, having better public relations with folks that don't go to meetings. So, and I'll always feel that way, have a better presence and always want to communicate to everybody better. So I feel like this plan could have been better communicated, but I also feel like it's a great plan, and I'm very, very excited to be swinging on the merry-go-round soon. I heard Keith plug an event. I'd like to plug an event that I've been helping out with at the Dunes Resort for at least 10 years or longer. Is the Make-A-Wish benefit will be on October 21st. If you'd like to mark the date for that. It's a great event. I go around here in Saugatuck, and we've got folks that go in Douglas and the township, and we ask for donations from our shopkeepers, from our restaurateurs, and for a silent auction. All of the drag queens, it's October 21st, silent auction doors open at 8 p.m. I'll be making sloppy joes, and I'll have homemade cookies there as well. We'll have little snacks there for you because the event lasts throughout the night. We'll have a silent auction there throughout the night. The drag queen show starts at 9:30. All of the bartenders, drag queens, performers donate their money to this cause to make the wish of a special child who has a terminal disease. And this is a child that is from Allegan County that they select. We raise between $10,000 and $15,000 a year through Make-A-Wish, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So if any business owners are listening or anybody listening, you'd like to make a donation, you can always make a cash donation by going right to the Dunes Resort and giving it to the office, make it out to Make-A-Wish. You could also, of course, give us something for our silent auction. We like that a lot. I just got a couple donations from Jim Martin, the photographer, Franny Martin's husband, some great donations, and get a hold of me as well and look for me in town and help support to Make-A-Wish. I think it's a great organization, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Holly?
I just want to give my sincere thanks to the Parks and Public Works Committee. Since I've been on council, this is a major change where we have gone out into the community for the first time and actually engaged citizens to work on projects like this. And I think what we've seen here is an extremely thoughtful, competent, problem-solving, very thorough solution. Honestly, this is really the first time that we've done this with the new committee, and I think it's spectacular. And I just want to thank the hours and hours and hours that it took for these community members. And I also remind all of us that these committee members are always talking to their networks and to their neighbors, and they engage with the parents, the families that actually will use the equipment. So I just really want, we can always criticize anything, but from a macro view, this didn't happen 4 years ago. There was no process like this. And I think the result that we have from this committee is not something that you would have gotten from a city employee or even from the city council. I think it's a superior product. So I want to thank you all again.
Okay, Russ?
Thank you. Couple things. One is the Outdoor Discovery Center report, which I read in detail, has a number of recommendations that go beyond playground equipment for signage and some other safety measures. So I'm hoping that the Parks and Public Works Committee will consider that as they continue to get this project underway. Two is, we really need to address the audio quality of the recorded meetings. I heard that repeatedly from people and experienced myself. So either we need to get overhead mics, whatever. I know we have new mics coming, but we really need to step our game up there because a lot of people depend on that to go back and listen to things. And it is very difficult to hear some of the comments that are made. So we need to make that a priority. The other comment that I've heard tonight is government moves slowly. I disagree with that. I think the local government can move very quickly as we're given priorities and we're given projects to work on. So I disagree when I hear that comment. I think we just need to be focused on the same things together and things will move quickly. I also want to compliment someone, a citizen, made a comment on our workshop meeting and called me I'm paraphrasing here, the question man, and I am damn proud of being the guy that asks questions at meetings. So I take that with a badge of honor and I will continue to do it. And I thank the citizen that made that mention.
So I just want to follow up. If I recall, several months ago, we had a lengthy discussion about the equipment and upgrading the equipment. And we decided to table it because we delayed it so long that the cost of everything had risen so much. So Jamie has been diligently going about finding us good and appropriate quotes. So just to remind everybody, because sometimes we have a short memory, quickly, I was lucky enough to help select that group of people who were Parks and Public Works. And I want to thank each and every one of you personally. Glenna, Kelly Roach, Keith, I know Nancy Kimball's not here. Who did I forget? And Ruth, she left already. And Helen for her leadership, because as hard as it is sometimes to bring together a group of people, you've done a fantastic job with that group. It's a group with very strong personalities and strong opinions, which is wonderful. And to be able to manage that in such a productive way, to be able to get us to this point quicker than what I think we ever could have been. Why we ever did away with the Parks and Public Works Committee in the first place is just beyond me. So it's so good to have it back in place. I look forward to a couple of other really good projects coming forward. I know you all have several things lined up. So congratulations, well done.
Yeah.
Keep rocking and rolling. That's it.
Yeah, I'll just finally say, an exhausting effort. I know there's a lot, but obviously the passion is there. You guys knew we needed new playground equipment. Not only was it dangerous and it was going to have to go away. A lot of us, I actually have grandkids. I know that sounds crazy, but I have two grandboys that we spend a lot of time at that park. So I'm looking forward to it being a little bit safer and a lot more interesting. These new playground equipment, my goodness, look at it. It's just going to be a crown jewel in the middle of town. And residents will use it. Grandparents, parents will be using that, as well as our tourists. And I just think it's a beautiful part of our town. And with having a brand new playground equipment there, it's just going to be fantastic. And to move along quickly so we can have it there by the spring. We really need it there because, just going through the winter season without it is going to be tough. But thankfully, we have those other parks in our, tri-community areas that we'll be going to. But I just want to say thank you so much for all your efforts. And I appreciate it so much. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Yep. And that's a voice vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion adjourned.